in our house are a little bit small. They have carpet though. Well, most of the rooms have carpet, so um, they're not too hard on my knees. So I don't really need to wear the the knee pads whenever I'm on carpet. It's not too bad. But then if I go, if it's a hard ground like a tile or maybe cement or a concrete slab or something like that, then I need to put my knee pads on. But so I was going to I tried to go into my mother-in-law's room, and because she has carpet, and crawl around in there, but that's also kind of small, so you can't really turn around in there. And I want to keep constant pressure on my legs, kind of gravity. I want to keep constant gravitational pressure on my legs. So I think that helps the body get used to, the pressure, weight bearing stuff. And it might also help out with the circulation too. I'm not sure. Oh, I hope so. But so I went to my mother-in-law's room, and I can crawl around a little bit in there, but I can't really turn around. So the most crawling I could get would maybe 20 steps or 20 crawls, or maybe 30 crawls, and then I would have to stop, and then I would have to roll over on my side and face the other direction, and start the whole process all over again. Well, this is kind of nice because I can turn around while I'm crawling, and I don't have to worry about if I'm gonna bump into something, or if I'm gonna run into anything. My wife has an arts and crafts room that she works in, and that one's also kind of small too, so I can't really turn around in there. So I figured, well, where else could I crawl? Well, I crawled in the living room, and I crawled in the hall, but I can't really turn around too well in the hall, because it's kind of small and long and narrow. So I wanted to, I want to figure out some place where I can keep constant load bearing pressure on my knees. So what I thought about, well, maybe I could go outside and practice crawling. Well, I thought about this one area of crawling where I could crawl, but that the dogs do their business over there, and I didn't want to accidentally be crawling be crawling in that area, and accidentally have my hand land in a big pile of crap, or have pee all over my hand or something like that. So this is a different area of our backyard that the dogs don't go restroom in. And another thing about it too is this area of the backyard doesn't have a lot of goat heads, which is really good because my hands are raw. I don't have any gloves on. Maybe I will. I'll probably get some gloves on in the future, to put on my hands. But for right now, I didn't have any gloves today. So what I did was I'm crawling right there, and I decided to go to this area and try and practice crawling because it's pretty open space, and I don't have to worry about dog poo poo or goat heads. I think I did run into a goat head one time with my right hand over there in the corner where I'm going right now. It was a goat head that was old and had been there for a while, so it wasn't from anything, any goat heads that are growing green or anything like that. But so that's what I wanted to crawl for. I ended up crawling for like 15, almost 20 minutes of crawling because I was able to, go around in circles, almost like a chuck wagon, you know. So that was kind of cool. But the reason why I wanted to try and keep the constant load-bearing pressure on my knees was because I looked at this website called Project Walk, which is in Sacramento, California, and it costs about $3,000 a month to do Project Walk, and I don't know, where you stay or anything like that, but but just initially it's about $3,000 a month to do it, and I heard that. Well, I also read that it costs about $25,000 to do stem cell research or stem cell work over in China. So, I have to, what would be more financially feasible? Well, it's not stem cell, and stem cell is it's kind of voodoo magic. You don't know if it's going to work, or if you do, you don't know if it's going to work or not. So, this Project Walk over there in Sacramento, California, or no, it's Carlsbad, California, is about $3,000 a month, but they don't, it's not stem cell. They use weights that you can move with your legs. So I don't know how they do it, but you can, you exercise, using your lower limbs mostly, and that's kind of interesting. So they made the Project Walk made the comparison of an astronaut that goes into outer space and experiences weightlessness. Well, if the astronaut is experiencing weightlessness for years, and then the astronaut might not, actually, the movement of the legs or the movement of the arms might begin to become numb. So maybe that's what's going on with me. I just had a major injury to my spinal cord at the lumbar vertebrae 1, and maybe it caused a little bit of numbness or partial injury of the spinal cord. And I sat on my I sit on my bottom ever since I've been paralyzed in 1992. So maybe it's just my legs have just become numb, and that's why they can't feel anything. I can't feel anything. But so what they're trying to do is they're trying to put weight on the legs in the form of exercising, so that you can so that it kind of tells the brain, hey man, this lower portion of the body is not unusable anymore. So keep on sending signals down here, nerve signals and whatever, to try and get the muscles to move and get some action going on in the muscles at the below the waist. Well, that's what I'm trying to do here. Is I'm crawling, but I'm load bearing on onto my knees, and one of the things that I've seen at the stem cell project there in China was that they're talking about whether you have sweating in your, below the injury site. Well, once I did feel my knees, once I did remove the knee pads, then I did feel a little bit of, I guess you'd call it sweat. I did feel a little bit of sweat. And my injury was like a burst fracture. It was a crush to the lumbar vertebrae one whenever I fell and landed on bricks on my head, and the pressure or the pressure all converged on lumbar vertebrae one and blew it out, totally destroyed it, so it crushed it. But so it's interesting because I still have a little bit of, I guess my injury's not complete. I don't think it is, and so I wanted to. I have a little bit of grass stains and stuff like that on the knee pads, but I was curious. But I don't have any scratching on my legs, which is good. So it's very good that I did have knee pads on whenever I was doing this crawling outside. And one of my friends on YouTube, he really recommended that I wear knee pads, and so that's what I'm doing. And my knee is kind of red. It's a little bit red, but I don't know. It's not that bad. I don't think it's not. It's not like rug burns or anything like that on the knees. It's just a little bit of redness that I think it'll go away. And, won't go away very quickly, like you would if you had redness on an area that you can feel, but I felt the knee, and it's a little bit warm to the touch, so I'll be interested to see if my knees are still warm to the touch, tonight, whenever I touch my knees, but I don't think that they will be warm to the touch anymore. So there I am. I put my knee pads, I pulled them back up again, and I'm gonna transfer back into my wheelchair. Get off my cushion. I wanted to sit on my cushion whenever I was not in my wheelchair, but sitting on the ground, because I don't want to cause any unnecessary pressure on my bottom that already is there, and the cushion will really help, kind of help soften things up. It's a honeycomb cushion is what I have, and I had a breakdown on my backside, which is pretty bad, but I didn't have to have surgery, so